Hey, Mike, my friend, we made it back. You are on YouTube yet again. This is Mike. I am Patrick.
Patrick.
I am Patrick. We are the hosts of your favorite paranormal podcast out there, the PARAnomaly ZONE. We are finally returning to our YouTube video content with episode 4 of Fast Track, Mike. It's basically a condensed version of the PARAnomaly ZONE podcast. Now, what the hell are we going to talk about today, Mike? What's on the agenda for Fast Track episode 4? Do we know? I think we decided after several hours and days of a deep deliberation and discussion, we decided on Bigfoot evidence, ? Is or has Bigfoot been captured on video, audio, any means of, the fancy schmancy techno mumbo jumbo out there? Long story short, is there evidence of Bigfoot, Mike? Let's go.
Yes.
We got about 10, 15
There
minutes.
is. There's got to be.
Okay, good start. So you're saying yes, absolutely 100%.
Well, I don't know. We'll discuss it.
Uh-oh, you hesitated a bit.
But, there are thousands and thousands of photographs and how many, video footage, how much video footage of alleged Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They can't all be faked.
Well, we've got, obviously, we have the most famous example of all, the Patterson film. We have several other examples, the Freeman footage, the Memorial Day footage. I'm talking about some of the older ones, the classic alleged video captures of Sasquatch. We have audio captures. You just go search YouTube here when you're done watching this. Type in Bigfoot vocalizations. You'll find tons of content of various people throughout the years, hanging out in the woods for whatever reason they're out there, enjoying life, I'm assuming. And they're capturing just bizarre audio, inexplicable, unexplainable,
very
real
fuzzy
stuff.
And out of focus.
Yeah, but as the Mitch Hedberg joke goes, maybe Bigfoot is blurry. You just never know.
Right. But, you see some that are...
The Sierra Sounds. We can't forget about the Sierra Sounds, for God's sakes.
Right. Exactly. But you see so many photographs, too. Not a lot or as many, of course, but so clear that how can they be real?
Now, what hits you more, Mike? What is more striking to you? The Patterson film aside, what has more weight to it? All of those alleged audio recordings, or all of these, as you say, kind of blurry, fuzzy, out of focus photos of what people claim to be Sasquatch? What holds more water for you?
Well, of course, I think the more detailed and the better photos that we get, that we can study better, get more detail and study that detail closer, like what was done on the Patterson film, how they broke that down into just tiny molecular, scrutiny.
Oh, that's been analyzed each way to Sunday 900,000 times by people far smarter than us, Mike. Experts, scientists, video analysts. And it has yet to be debunked. We say that over and over and over. However many times we've covered the Patterson film, it never grows old for me, because why would it?
Yeah, when I started hearing about the scientific study that they put on these and the techniques that they used, I'd never heard that before, and it's like it made sense, that they were telling the truth, that they know what they're talking about. That's what I was taking from it.
How about the alleged physical evidence, the footprints, the Skookum cast, Mike? For gosh sakes,
that one.
Talk about being
can't deny that one,
being scrutinized by people who, again, far smarter than us, and they cannot for the life of them figure out what it could be other than a possibly unknown, large, hairy, well, let's face it, great ape, essentially.
Right.
The Skookum cast is damn near irrefutable.
Right.
In my humble opinion. I don't know about you, but...
Oh, I agree. But it's always going to be, irrefutable, because it's just the way it's,
it is.
We're not all believers, or we're not all people that even want to believe. There are so many people that are going to always want to debunk it and say it's not real. So,
sometimes I get so flabbergasted with the pseudo skeptics. I just come to the conclusion that they're afraid.
Yeah. I've thought of that.
I mean, does that sound rude? Am I out of bounds here, out of line by saying that? It's like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah. If they were taken out of their wheelhouse that they live in, their little box of knowledge, and I'm not putting down scientists because it sure sounds like I am.
No, but let's be clear. We are not hammering down on scientists. Science is important. We love science.
Extremely important. But, there's just going to always be that, it has to go ahead and help me finish here.
There's that portion that of, again, we label them as pseudo skeptics because they don't even bother to open themselves up to the possibility of something being real, that they just refuse to be real because it doesn't fit in that box of knowledge that you were talking about.
That's what I was saying. It takes them out of their safety box, or that safety zone. And if it's something that they can't believe in, they can't grasp, so it's not real, and they aren't gonna move from it.
Mike, we had the privilege of talking with Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum about Sasquatch. That video is available on YouTube. The regular episode audio podcast is on YouTube as well. Man, an hour and a half of just sitting there. Basically, that was such an awesome interview because out of the hour and 25 minutes, I say Jeff was speaking for an hour and 19 minutes of those.
Right.
And Mike and I were just like, huh?
Yeah. He was just putting out constant knowledge and, that connection of science and Bigfoot. The guy is phenomenal with that.
And Mike, I might have said this before, but I'll say it now for sure. Take that interview with Jeff Meldrum. Take any interview with Jeff Meldrum, but hey, help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
Take that interview with Jeff Meldrum. Take it to your local pseudo skeptic. Take it to that family member. Take it to that friend who absolutely refuses to even consider the idea of Bigfoot existing, and have them listen to that. Chances are they may actually open up their little box of knowledge after that episode. Don't you think, Mike? I mean, how can you argue with the facts?
Right. Even if they, totally thought of Bigfoot as the way Jeff Meldrum described it, as a real biological creature, if you want to go with that in that direction of that it's something that has just evolved over time or whatever.
Dare I say, a missing link of some sort?
Exactly. He really puts that out in a way that, it can turn your thinking around to the possibility of it being a real creature, like the mountain gorillas 100%. That were found, all of that stuff. Yeah. We
can't recommend his book, Sasquatch When Legend Meets Science. We can't recommend that enough. Mike, I've said that I've burned through that book probably about 5 times now since I just got it, 2 months ago or something? I don't remember. I love it. It is such a great argument for the reality of Sasquatch. It just is. Yeah. Now, you mentioned, how this is, if you choose to believe that it is a real biological creature. Now, let's kind of expand it a little bit here. There are also some who believe that it is more than a biological entity. It is more of a spiritual, maybe even an alien of some sort, alien in nature. Where are you sitting, Mike, on that? Do you kind of straddle that Bigfoot fence?
There are so many things.
You kind of lean either way. That's a tough one, I know.
Yeah, I always want to believe that there's the paranormal aspect to something. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to try and figure it out and debunk it, because if it's not real, I don't want anything to do with it. But with the Sasquatch, I would love to have that balance between the scientific and the spiritual, but it's a fine line there. But there is. I mean, Meldrum, Jeff briefly touched on it, where he's like, he's an anthropologist. He's a professor of anatomy. He's all about the evidence, the biological evidence, the physical evidence, and so he's not closing himself off to maybe possibly being a little bit more to the Sasquatch story, Sasquatch legend.
But I'd say 99.9% he's sure that it's a great ape.
Right.
It's a relic.
He's going with pure facts that he has figured out, studied,
researched
everything, and he knows what he's doing, and he's convinced.
If you were forced to choose, Mike, I love doing this. Before we run out of time here, I'm going to put Mike on the spot, on the hot seat. You have to choose, Mike. Bigfoot, biological, anatomical, relic of the great apes, or just there's physical, scientific reason behind that, or paranormal in nature. You have to choose. I love putting him on the spot. He's like going, "You bastard! You love doing this."
No. To me, if I had to choose between one of the two,
he can't do it. Yeah, I love it. I love putting him on the spot. So I'm like, I got an answer.
At this point, I know what I know. I know what I feel inside of me and what I believe in my mind. I know there has to be some kind of a fine line balance, but until I see more proof, I have to say paranormal side.
Okay, I knew you were going that. I knew you were going that direction. Yeah, I mean, I love that. I love that idea as well. I love that possibility. It is just that. It's a possibility in my mind.
Yeah, but it is so hard because even if it was, I say, just a biological creature that has existed, like the mountain gorilla, that is still such an awesome, fantastic thing. If there's no paranormal to it at all, it's like a world-shaking thing to be. If we were able to find out that this was an actual creature, paranormal or not, it's a huge thing.
Now, I briefly, we're running out of time here. In a minute or two, Mike, your thoughts on Ron Moorhead and the Sierra Sounds. Again, we've had Ron Moorhead, lucky enough to have had Ron Moorhead as a guest on our show 3 times. The most recent was back in 2021, November 21. I can't believe it was that long ago already. We have to try and book him again, Mike. He's so great to talk to. But if you're not familiar, if listeners or watchers, viewers are not familiar, Ron Moorhead had an unbelievable experience back in the Sierra Mountains back in the early 1970s where he and his fellow campers, I should say, hunting partners, had unbelievable interaction with what they claim was a family of Bigfoots. And they have it on audio. I have those 2 CDs right up there, Mike, the Sierra Sound CDs, some of my favorite listening. I don't necessarily go to sleep to them like some people do, but how is that for you as far as evidence, Mike? Is that surefire evidence to you?
To me, it's 99.8.9. Because
you can't say 100% proof.
Yeah, we weren't there, but it's so compelling by the studies that have been done on the recordings. Even, I mean, it wasn't
faked.
Yeah, so
something was making.
You have to go with that too.
Yeah, something was making those vocalizations. And it was basically proven that the human vocal cords it is impossible for them to duplicate what was recorded.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it again if you aren't familiar. But chances are you are if you're watching this short video clip right now. So, Mike, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for making the time for Fast Track Episode 4, Bigfoot Evidence. Your monkey's clapping by itself. Yeah. That was awesome.
Little bit.
That was pretty cool.
Once in a while.
Now, was that ghostly or are you get something hooked up to the arms there that you're playing a trick on us?
Yeah, my hand.
Oh, you damn bastard. Fine. We'll end it on that.
I was holding a monkey.
He loves holding that damn monkey. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We will be back. We'll be adding more and more future video content. Yeah. We love all you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Help spread the PARAnomaly ZONE word. Mike, until next time, what does everyone need to do, buddy?
Peace out.
Awesome.